What is up, Jimmy and Josh, and how's it from the East Coast? My name is Tommy Proffitt. I'm 28 years old. I live in Richmond, Virginia, and my Patreon ID is awkward, And today, I'm going to convince you guys to let me come onto game nights with a deck that breaks the rules of Commander. Now, when I first started thinking about what deck I would want to submit for my audition, I knew it had to be a deck that showcase some different things that we haven't seen on game nights before, and also showcase some different themes that we really don't see in normal metas in Commander. And so, let me introduce you guys to the commanders of the deck, Thrasios and Silas Wren. Now, I know what you're probably thinking at this point. Partner commanders, they're new, they're novel, but we have seen them before. We did an entire episode about them. And, Commander players are really catching on to the fact that they're pretty good. And you are absolutely right about that. The uniqueness of this deck doesn't come from the commanders on the outside. In fact, the commanders on the outside don't really matter that much. It's all about the commanders on the inside of the deck. Now, let me talk to you guys about one particular card that I think will illuminate what's going on here. It's a card called Thrumming Stone. And this card really only works if you have multiple copies of cards with the same name in your deck, which we can't do because this is Elder Dragon Highlander after all. That is, of course, unless you have a card with the clause printed on it that you can have as many copies of this card in your deck as you wish. You've probably put the pieces together at this point and figured out that this is a Shadowborn Apostles deck. But if that's what you're thinking, you are absolutely wrong. It's not Shadowborn Apostles. It's Relentless Rats. The lesser known and honestly lesser played because it's lesser good version of a card with the clause. You can have as many copies of this card in your deck as you wish. Relentless Rats does one thing really well. They're absolutely relentless, and the deck is built around dumping rats out onto the battlefield as many times as it can. It's also about playing janky cards that we never get to see in Commander. Cards like Nantuko Shrine, which mixes adorable squirrels with the rats that are out on the battlefield already. It's cute, it's vicious, it's everything you want in a Commander deck. And finally, this deck does something that we don't usually see that often in Commander, and it's kind of rule-breaking on its own. It mills its opponents. That's right, mill in Commander. Finally, if that's not enough of a reason to consider this deck, you should really consider the fact that it's rife with pun potential. Let's say that I'm about to win the game, but I need to backstab someone to do it. I might say, guys, I smell a rat. Or let's say I whiff on a Thrumming Stone trigger and I don't get any additional rats out. Rats. And that's just two of the maybe three, possibly four rat-based puns this deck can produce. And that alone should get it a place on the game night's table.